Hi, guys. I'm so excited to talk about today's topic because it is something that we all struggle with as business owners, and that has to do with your productivity, right? So, we as business owners have a lot on our plates, and there's always a lot to do in terms of our to do list. I mean, my to do list is never ending. So, time management is really crucial, right? So, how can we maximize our working days? Let's talk about the 7 best productivity hacks that I have personally used as a lawyer and an entrepreneur, and I am so excited to share them with you today. Before we get started, I want to start with my favorite quote, and that is focus on being productive instead of busy. Now, you may know Tim Ferriss, he's the one that has put together this quote, but it really is so true because a lot of times we confuse being busy with being productive. Raise your hand if you're guilty of that. I am certainly guilty of that because a lot of times I felt like when I was doing this busy grunt work that I was being productive, but in reality, I was wasting time. That's time that could have been spent on much more important tasks or things, but instead I was just being busy for being busy, And so that's something that we should always keep in mind, that there is a difference between productive and then there is difference between being busy. Now, a little bit about me. I am a business lawyer. I've been featured on different news outlets and TV appearances, radio shows, and so forth. And my primary focus is to help entrepreneurs legally protect their online businesses through either working with me one-on-one or by downloading one of my legal templates from my online store. And I've had the honor of working in the last 10 years with at least 50,000 entrepreneurs and helping them go from struggling with the legal side of their business to feeling instant relief and peace of mind by using one of my legal templates or working one-on-one with me. So why am I talking about productivity? The reason why productivity is so important to me, because to me as a lawyer, time is money. And I started my online business over at aselfgrew.com while working full time as a lawyer during the day. And then I turned it into $1 million business in just 2 years while working full time as a lawyer, like 12, 13-hour days. During the day, I was a lawyer. And then at nights for 4 hours. And then on the weekends, pretty much every weekend, I was a blogger and entrepreneur over at aselfgrew.com. So when it comes to being busy or when it comes to being productive, trust me, I know how it feels because I've done it for a long ass period of time. And I have experienced frustration, burnout, whatever you can think of. So whatever I will be sharing with you today will be the tips and tricks that have really helped scale my business and also create that balance that we all strive for. So what will you learn today? You, first of all, raise your hand if, like me, you have experienced frustration, slow business growth, burnout, lack of motivation. These are all things that are very natural and we all experience them in our business, especially when we're being so overwhelmed. So today I want to make things a little easier for you. You will learn the 7 best productivity hacks that you can use to make your life easy and you can get a lot more done without experiencing burnout. So without wasting more time, let's get into the first hack I have for you. And that one is don't focus on perfection. I am so guilty of this hack, you guys. As a lawyer, I'm a perfectionist. I was trained that way because if you are not being detail oriented and you're not analyzing all sides of the case, or whenever you're working with your clients, you're not looking at every single option, then you're not a good lawyer because it's just part of your training to do the best job that you can for the person that you're trying to help. So naturally, I was a perfectionist and I just kind of took that mentality and all of that work into my business. And boy, did I suffer or what? I mean, the first year, everything I was taking, every task was taking forever to get done, whether it was writing a blog post or whether it was creating my website or whether it was picking my colors for my website. I mean, just you name it. Everything just became a project. And at some point it hit me that I'm really being a perfectionist, and that is a huge mistake because perfection really just exists in your head. So you need to cut yourself some slack. And one of the ways that you can overcome perfectionism is by setting realistic standards. So don't be an overachiever. Try to, strive for things to get done, and you'll be surprised that even your imperfect work will actually make a difference in someone's life, and it'll be the best thing that you've created or accomplished. So try to focus on the process instead of just on the outcome. And if you're constantly worrying about, well, what am I doing? Am I doing this the right way? Is this looking good? Am I missing something? Then you're really not enjoying the process. And then that is taking away from the experience. So instead of obsessing over the results or the final destination, try to have fun. Try to have fun, because one thing I will tell you, that when you are a perfectionist, it really robs you of your happiness and fun. And I've experienced that firsthand. So these are some of the ways that you can avoid all of that, okay? Now moving on to the second tip I have for you, and that is automate, automate, automate. I mean, whatever you can automate with some business tools or other apps, just automate as much as you can, because I'm telling you, this one little hack will seriously save you hours every single day. I mean, there are many things you can automate in your business, such as your accounting. You can use QuickBooks, FreshBooks, even your email customer service stuff you can automate, auto replies. You can automate all your bills. For example, I don't pay anything anymore. Everything is automated. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to look at it. Maybe once a month, when I do my banking or accounting, I look at to make sure that nothing was overbilled or whatever. But other than that, I don't have to sit there, write 20 bills. Everything is just automated. You can even automate your marketing, your sales. So try to automate these processes to save up so much of your time. You'll be amazed how much you can free up your time in your business, and it will just kind of improve the efficiency and accuracy, and also reduce cost, because you don't have to sit there try to do all of this stuff on your own. Now the third productivity hack, and this one is my absolute favorite, has to do with using templates. I love templates in business. No matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm creating, I have a template for everything. And which is why I have a legal store filled with 20, 30 different legal templates, because I am such a template lover. And it's because templates really just make your life super easy and quick. For example, I put my own template example here. I have a privacy policy template that I sell. But if you look at it, why people love my templates is because they're super easy to use, and you just fill in some blanks, and within 5 to 10 minutes you're done, and your business and your website is legally compliant. And here's, for example, from my customer Ashley, who was so anxious with the legal side of her business, but then as soon as she downloaded the templates, she felt this sense of relief. So you can find a template for not just legal documents or legal pages that I sell, but for anything, right? Like email marketing, you can create your own templates, like graphics, you have Canva templates, you have blog post templates, you have all these different things that you can create a template for to save yourself time the next time around. I'll give you another example. So I also do coaching services, and when I'm working with my clients, some of the frequently asked questions or some of the things that have come up over the years, I have made a template for it. So this way I don't have to reinvent the wheel. It just streamlines the process for me, and I can use the same exact process and in the form of the template, and I can send it to my new client or new customer and make my life easy and make things faster. And basically it just saves me time. So if you haven't thought about creating templates in your business, I highly, highly recommend that you do that for whatever is it that you're doing. The next productivity hack is having to say no. So as a people pleaser, which I am also guilty of, and tell me if you can relate to this. If you can relate to this, please let me know in the chat. But this productivity hack is personally difficult for me because I usually am the one to volunteer and say yes to any opportunity or anything that comes my way. And I always like to please people, right? But this honestly is a mistake that really sabotages you. And you cannot get more hours in the day. There's only 24 hours in the day. So you have to learn to say no to the things that are not going to add value to your business or that are going to derail your productivity. And it may seem hard because if you're so used to saying yes, it's going to feel awkward, it's going to feel weird. But you have to be realistic, and you cannot pour from an empty cup, so you have to make sure that you are not so quick to say yes. Assess the situation, look at your schedule, and then only say yes to things that you can honestly commit to without sacrificing your time and your sleep or whatever it may be. The next productivity hack, and tell me if you're familiar with batching. So batch creating or batching tasks that are similar is definitely one of my favorite productivity hacks. And tell me if anyone here has done this, because if you have, then I'm sure you can, you would agree with me that this is really a favorite productivity hack that you can easily use to get a lot more done. So if you don't know what batching is, let me know in the chat below, and I would love to explain a little bit more. So batching is really when you group similar tasks together and you plan your day and you attack those things all at once. So for example, I'll give you my example. So when I'm writing blog posts for my online business, or when I'm creating videos, you can batch all of that, meaning you try to get as many of those blog posts done in that one day versus getting distracted and doing one thing at a time. So I try to squeeze in as much as I can, as many videos as I can in a day, or as many blog posts as I can in a day. This way, I'm not distracted and I'm focusing on that one particular task for that particular day in that set period of time. By doing this, you don't have distractions and you can get a lot more done, and you'll be surprised at how much it's going to improve your productivity by just batching stuff. So if you haven't started doing this, I highly recommend you do this. I just recently did this with Instagram Reels. I created like 7 Reels in I don't know, an hour and a half. And that's basically content for 7 days, right? So it's totally worth to do it all in that one sitting, instead of doing a little bit of this and then working on something else, and then you just get all distracted and confused. The number 6 productivity hack I have for you has to do with starting your toughest or easiest task first. So pick, when you create your to-do list, first of all, planning is really, really important. And that's one of the tips for productivity. You should always plan your day, whether first thing in the morning or the night before, whatever works best for you. But after you plan your to-do list for that day, I want you to pick the toughest or the easiest task that you're going to focus on. So for me, focusing on the toughest task in the morning is the best way to start my day, because I'm usually very fresh, right, in the morning, and I am not distracted, so I can knock out that tough thing in the morning and give myself a sense of achievement. So then you just kind of sets the tone for the day. It makes you, you feel accomplished. You feel like, okay, I've done something. And now then anything else that follows after that, like the easy task, feels really easy. It really is easy, and you can get a lot more done that way. Or if you need motivation, you could start with the easy task first thing in the morning, work on that easy task. And then once you've accomplished the easy task, then once again, that will give you motivation. It will give you a good sense of accomplishment, and it'll get you in the groove to attack tougher things, right? So then you can move on to the next big thing on your agenda. So consider working both ways to see which one fits best for you. Or if you already have a system, I would love to know about it. Let me know in the comments below, which task do you work on first, the easy one or the toughest one? Because it's always interesting to me, because everybody's different, right? Some people prefer to knock out the tough things first. Some people prefer to knock out the easy stuff first, because then they're like, oh, at least I got something done. So I would love to know what your style is. All right, moving on to the last tip. I can't believe we're already on tip number 7. And this one has also been a challenge for me, and that is delegating and outsourcing. So And this is very typical. If you are a perfectionist, this is going to be a challenge for you no matter what, right? Because as perfectionists, we think that we are the only ones who can do the thing the best way. Like nobody else can write this better than you, or nobody else can create this better than you. So you always have these issues and you have a hard time letting go of that control. And for me, when I started my business, I was working around the clock. I was experiencing burnout because, working as a lawyer for long hours and then working weekends and weeknights, my days were like 16-hour days every day. So it was a very big, long day for me for a couple years. And I didn't start delegating until my second year. So I wish I had started sooner to make my life easy. But again, I didn't know any better. And we all learn from our own mistakes, right? So delegating and getting help is something that I think all entrepreneurs struggle with. And so it's something that you really should look into it as soon as you start to experience any of those things, such as burnout, frustration, lack of motivation, because we all need someone to help us out. And it's a complete waste of your time if you are being busy and you're filling up your day doing mundane things or things that are not moving the needle in your business, things that are not generating revenue or money. That's not the best use of your time. So that's why you really have to figure out that how many hours you're spending on a task, and then ask yourself, what is your time worth and how much are you worth? So I'll give you an example. Let's say this is a hypothetical situation. Let's say that you have spent 10 hours working on something for a client that you were creating, and that gave you $100, right? For $100. So now you just spend 10 hours doing this work for the client for $100. So that means you're only worth $10 an hour. So you see where I'm going with this? You should always look at the amount of time that you're spending on a task or a project, and then how much you're making out of it, and then figure out what is it that how much time you're trading, right? So if you could have hired somebody to do this for you or automate this process for you, then you would save time, right? So instead of spending 10 hours, maybe you'll spend 5 hours. So then you will be worth a little more than $10 an hour, right? So these are things that you should look into and delegate. And there's so many different ways you can delegate in a business. You could hire a virtual assistant, you can have a designer, you can have a writer, you can have a marketing expert. So wherever you feel like you can outsource, do it. Now let's talk about a free gift that I have for you. And this is really exciting. And it kind of ties into this whole productivity thing for you, because if you remember, part of one of the productivity tips I mentioned is using templates, right? So when you have an online business, every single online business is going to need some sort of legal protection. So I have put together a free legal guide where I walk you through 3 really common legal mistakes that I see entrepreneurs making, and I have put together templates to solve those problems for you. So once again, saving you time and money. So I would love for you to grab that freebie that I have put together for you absolutely free. You just click right here to get it, and it will take you to the page. You enter your email and your name, and the freebie will be emailed to you. And then the productivity tools, this is the last thing I want to leave you with. One of my favorite part of being productive, one of the things that I absolutely can't live without is my journal. Whether it's my gratitude journal, whether it's my regular journal, I always have a journal. It just keeps me more aware of how much time I'm spending, what does my to-do list looks like, how much I've accomplished over the month or a week or whatever it may be. And then also it keeps me away from distractions. I've noticed that when you write something, it registers better, right, than just electronically. Electronic journals are great, but I feel still this old-fashioned way of writing something, it just has a more powerful and more impact on me personally. I don't know about you, but if you can relate to this, let me know in the comments. But in addition to keeping a physical journal, I also use Asana, and I love Asana. It's so easy to use. If you have team members, you outsource something, you can also add them into your Asana. So this way everything is nicely organized. You can assign tasks to your team members or your employees, freelancers, and it's just a really great way to keep yourself and your business organized. Now, Where can you find me? Here's my website, here's my support email, and please join my Facebook support group. It's free to join. It's called A Self Group Biz Blog Community. You can find me on Instagram, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel where I share free business and legal tips on a weekly basis. And I would love to connect with you. I hope this presentation was helpful, and I will see you next time.